Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Strong Tower Podcast. Today's guest happens to be one of my good friends. His name's Josh Hynson. We grew up, we're actually in a band together for a little bit, and he went on to do many different things with music, being the drummer in many different bands, and you actually possibly might hear something coming up with me and him, something that we'll put together. But here he is, guys. Josh Hynson.
To another level.
What's going on, man?
Just been working a lot.
Yeah?
Been working a lot, trying to keep up with, trying to, get back into writing music and stuff again. And
Yeah. Because that's what I want to ask you about, like, if you were still, like, into doing that.
yeah, so I enjoy doing it, and I'll always enjoy doing it. You know, I've been playing drums since I was, 11 years old.
Right.
And in general, I've always had an infatuation just with music in general. You know, I love the process of writing it and then hearing the end result. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, the process of creating it is like it's like the whole journey to make this end result, you know?
Right.
But I haven't been as consistent with it lately as I would like to be. You
Right,
know?
because you're like, with that kind of stuff, it's the same with me. Like, even with the stuff I do now, sometimes you find where, like, kind of life gets in the way, you know? But I've learned to kind of make it a part of my life, rather than, like, don't let work be the end-all, be-all. You know what I mean? And I think, and I try to tell people at work that, because they're always talking about working and stuff like that. And I'm like, don't let work be your life. You know, it's just something that you need to make money. But then after that, don't bring it home with you. Don't worry about it outside, you know, and then work your way around finding stuff to do something that you love. Because that's what makes your life worth living. If you're just living your life to go to work and pay bills, that's not anything to do.
Yeah, I've had to kind of get used to that separation, you know, like leaving everything at work. It's rough. I work 4 days a week, you know, so in essence, you know, 3 days off is fantastic, you know, but at the same time, when I'm at work, it's like I have a time I go in, which is around 1 o'clock. So, and then I never know when I'm leaving. So I'm working, you know, anywhere from 10 to 16 hours a day. So it's those 4 days a week. It's very difficult to do anything else except for, you know, go to work, come home, sleep. So I feel as though, you know, someone working like a 5-8 schedule or something like that, it's like, you know, you get off in the evening, you know when you're getting done, you have time to do other things. Like, I have no time to do anything those 4 days. So I'm left with like 3 days a week, and then it's like, you know, we're getting like stuff done around the house, you know, getting errands done, and then still doing other things that I enjoy to do, you know.
Yeah.
But the music hasn't been as consistent, like I said. I don't know. So, but I've been like writing a little bit on the computer, I have like a keyboard, so it's like a MIDI board, so I can like punch in all this stuff instead of actually like, you know, having the whole band together. It's like, that's fun too, you know, just like a little bit of fun creative.
Right, making your own thing, and you don't have to worry about having other people there. You know, that's always something like I wish I could do, because that's why I was working on the garage band thing, you know, because I never really thought you could, because I don't play any instruments. All I know how to do is scream, you know? So I was like, okay.
From back in the day.
So, so that's all I know how to do. And so I was like, how can I do something myself? You know, because that's all I can do. I can't play any instruments or anything. So after listening to the guy I told you to listen to, you know, I was like,
oh my, what was his name again?
Rob Bailey. And his nickname's like the Hustle Standard.
That's what it was, Rob Bailey and the Hustle Standard.
Yeah. And so he's very musically gifted, like the Hustle Standard, and then Rob just yells, you know? So when I listened to them, I was like, yo, if I could just like have like a beat and just like write something and yell to it or whatever, then I can actually make my own thing, you know? So I think listening to him kind of really opened that kind of like tunnel for me to do that. Yeah. You know, because I didn't know that could be done. And I was like, hey, I could try and figure something out.
Yeah, like you don't have to physically play like, you know, a drum set, like, you know, all mic'd up to make the beats and stuff.
Exactly.
You know, that's why it's so cool. It's like literally if you kind of have in your head how you want to do it, it's just, you know, you just have the keyboard and you literally just are figuring out what keys make what sounds, and you just literally hit whatever you want, you know, and as it's recording.
Right.
You know, it makes it a lot easier. And it's fun too, because if you don't like it, you don't have to start the whole thing over, you know, and do it, or you know, any of that. It's just, you know, you have everything right there on the keyboard. It's just a lot easier. But yeah, so in general, I kind of hit a spot with the music because, I mean, you know, like I've been in and out of bands. I mean, I've been with, like, I'm not in and out, like, you know, I can't keep like myself in one. I just, you know, I've been in a few different ones over the years, and it's, you know, been with a few different groups of people. You know, my interests have changed in general, just with, I guess, my taste and like what I'm passionate about creating and stuff music wise. And I guess like the last group I was with, the Artisan, you know, everything was great with that. Like I did love, you know, playing music with them and everything, and I still do sometimes. Like I have a drum set up in Jersey with them, and we'll do it like, well, we had like a once a week thing just for fun, or once every other week, I mean. And you know, now it's just like it'll be every other week, or just whenever we can all get together for fun. I think when we were doing it before, it got, I don't know, I think there was just, to me, it became, I guess, a lot less fun. Like
more work.
It felt like more work, you know, which is fine, you know, because I understand, especially when you're trying to achieve a higher level, like in any kind of industry. Eventually, I feel as though that passion that you have, and you know what you've always viewed as like a fun hobby, once it starts becoming something that you're constantly doing, and it's starting, like, sometimes it's like you're playing, you know, different things like you don't really want to play, you know, or you go, you know, just on different situations. It starts to feel more like work, you know, and the fun kind of starts to get taken out of it, because now you're viewing it as, I have to go do this, instead of it being like, I want to go do this, you know?
Yeah, because that band, that was probably your best chance to really do anything with music, right? With that band.
Yeah, I think so. I think also within myself, I think with situations like that, it's not that some situations, I guess, in my life, like I'll take risk with, you know, I'll take risk, put my foot out there and see what happens. But I have a hard problem going like both feet in, you know, with some things. Like, I guess I have a easier time taking risk in my head if I know, like, if this falls through, I can still grab the shore and pull myself back up. You know what I mean? Just with some situations, I know some people are, you know, both feet in. They'll go for it. You know what I mean? Those are the people that really achieve a lot, I feel like. You know, or they fail, but then they get back up and do it again. Sometimes I just have a hard time doing that, you know, just giving my complete all, you know. So like with that, you know, back in the day, had I have been like, you know, which I don't know if it ever even would have came to this completely, like touring all the time and stuff like that. You know, I don't know. I guess at that point I have, you know, things that I have to like pay for. You know what I mean? We grow up, we have bills, stuff like that. So then you start thinking, you know, like, well, you know, if I start doing this, I'm not going to be able to keep this job I have. And then, you know, even if I got just some whatever job, you know, like some minimum wage job, or whatever, it's like I can't just maintain what I have, you know, like. It's never been a goal of mine, like with music, I don't have to be rich and, you know, whatever, but it would be cool, so, you know, at some point, or, you know, even when I was doing it consistently, just to be able to maintain what I have, you know. I never, and it's like, I never looked at it as like, let me do this to get rich, or let me do this to make a lot of money. But at the same time, I do still have some responsibilities, you know, that I have to, just like I said, be able to maintain and live, you know. But, I don't know, like I've always loved like metal music and metalcore and stuff like that, which obviously that was what the whole band was, you know, surrounded. That's the music we made. But I don't know, I feel like times are starting to change. You know, it's when you look at the music industry, I'm not saying there isn't a market for metalcore anymore, but I feel as though like back in 2007, 2008, 2009, like when the Harmony Grange was like popping. You know? Like I feel like that was really the time when everything was booming like that. And I feel as though the music scene as a general is kind of, you know, just making a move. You know, things change over time. So I, you know, getting involved, I feel like in that, which everything is marketing, you know, marketing, and they're just building a fan base in general. So anything can be successul, you know, but I don't know, in my mind, I'm not sure if that was going to be like what was for me, you know?
But like what, because I see it similar as like what I do now. like I have this, and then I'm also like building a business, but I also know that but I can do this with having a full-time job, you know? Whereas I think in a band, I think that would take more time rather than, so you couldn't really do both, right?
So I can do both.
You
I
could?
guess the work schedule that I've had for years,
Yeah.
it has been like in the evenings.
Because then you got to go
and
by other
typically-
guys' schedules too, you know? So that's...
Yeah. Well, and you know, a lot of times too, like when you're even just like doing weekend stuff, it's always Fridays and Saturdays are like the days to do things, which
Yeah.
I work both of those nights,
Yeah.
like always.
Right.
So I guess it is partially, you know, my fault too. Like I could have probably gotten a day shift job or something, so it freed up the evenings for me.
Were you the first one to leave that band, or...
No, so I'm still really good friends with all of them, by the way.
Okay,
you know,
right,
and I
right.
still, like I said, I still jam with them and stuff. Like
Yeah.
we have a whole CD that we wrote. It just hasn't been released yet, but I
Okay.
think that is on the plans
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
that. But no, originally there was a bass player that had left.
Okay.
He wanted to like finish school and stuff like that.
Right.
I know he was busy. He was going to school. Like he opened his own like vape shop now and everything.
Okay.
So he has like a small business and all that, which
Yeah.
is really cool. And then our guitar player Colin left as well, but he came back.
Okay.
But then I just wasn't feeling, I don't know, I have a hard time sometimes contributing to something that
Right.
I don't feel like I'm 100% in on.
Yeah.
You know, especially when everyone else is 100% push.
Right, and you're
I'm
just
not
kinda showing
feeling-
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm holding everyone else back. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? From doing and achieving. Because, like, I do genuinely enjoy seeing my friends and other people that I'm close with,
Right.
you know, prosper in whatever
Right.
they're doing. You know,
Right.
I enjoy seeing other people be successful. You
Yeah.
know, so I didn't want to hold anybody back from that. Like who am I to stop anyone from doing what they want to do?
Yeah.
So if I'm not 100% in on it and I feel like I'm holding them back, I feel like the best thing was for me just to take a step out. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't feel 100% in it. You know, in my head anymore.
Right.
You know, and it was the
So-
same thing too. Even with the band before that, Parallels. You know,
I didn't even hear that one.
Parallels?
Yeah.
The one with I was in it with Max Rakinski and Mike Jacobs and
Yeah,
Nick.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, that was from Delaware.
Okay.
But that was a lot of, I mean, I love that too.
Yeah.
I'm still cool with them as well. But I wasn't 100% in it with my headspace anymore either,
Right.
you know. And I don't know why exactly. I just
Yeah.
like I said, I may have changed over time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, man, and bands are tough because it takes all of you to be in sync.
mhm.
You know, it's not just you can do something yourself and be okay. You know, you have to all be on the same page, and you all have to all still be having fun and still doing the same things, and you got travel with each other and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Like it's rough. That's
Yeah.
why a lot of bands don't last. You know, I mean, you see some of the greats like Devil Wears Prada, Under Oath, all them like so-called Christian bands. You know what I mean, or whatever. They try and come back and now all of a sudden that's not what their belief is and all that kind of stuff because I feel like they got labeled as that where they didn't want to.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. You
Yeah.
know, I think we'll use Under Oath for an example.
Right.
Who was the Aaron Gillespie?
Yep.
So I think because he had the Almost as well,
Yep.
and that was also labeled a Christian band.
Mhm.
So I think I don't know. I don't want to say because I think they all are probably Christians, you know.
Right.
But just because I feel like just because you're Christian, like you don't have to necessarily
Christian
have your
band.
music labeled as that. But
Right.
I think especially back at the time where they were blowing up, I think that was just a big, some of the big labels were pushing the Christian bands and stuff
Right.
like that, such as the Devil Wears Prada, Under Oath,
Right.
and whoever else. I feel like that was kind of like a thing that was booming at that time
Right.
too. I don't know why,
Yeah.
it necessarily.
I was watching a video on it, and then I was like, wow, I didn't even realize how big like so-called like Christian bands were back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know?
I'm not even sure why that was
all
like
the metal, good metal bands were Christian bands.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Which is weird. I mean, For Today has been my favorite band ever since I've heard of them.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, since they don't play together anymore or whatever, because I think they were truly teaching what they believe, and truly helping other people. They just weren't calling themselves that, and You know what I mean? A lot of people don't like it. They think it's too preachy and other stuff. And I understand that. That can get annoying for someone that's not in that type of thing. But you just think about Under Oath, where their music, it doesn't really show that. You know,
show like the whole
show
like,
their faith or all that kind of stuff. You know, so that's why I always wondered. And also, like As I Lay Dying was labeled a Christian band in the early stages.
Yeah, I'm not so sure they could.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but yeah, I mean, that's weird that they were even labeled as that. But yeah, coming back to the whole Under Oath thing is now they're like rebranded. You know, they kept the same name and all that kind of stuff, but I think everyone but Aaron kind of went through their own little rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Whether it was they're like, oh, I hate this, I don't want to do this anymore, you know, all that kind of stuff. And
actually, Spencer Chamberlain, the vocalist, I played with his band. Actually, he had a band called Sleepwave that he was doing, which I don't know if he's still doing it or not. But when Under Oath was done, he was doing this band Sleepwave, and I played with them. And which was cool because this is somebody I've looked up to. That band in general, Under Oath. Like, I feel like formed me as a musician growing up. I mean, we used to play at the youth group, like all the Under Oath songs and stuff like that. So I guess to play with him on such a small scale, because Sleepwave, the way he put it, like when we were playing with him, because like me and Matt Griffin actually chatted with him for a while after I was done playing with him and stuff, and the way he kind of put it was like he's just because of his name, he doesn't get thrown back up on a pedestal just because of his name.
Exactly.
Like, he was going back through the motions of kind of starting a new project, and making a name for that band,
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
It's funny that you brought that up because I actually have a video. Let's see if I think it's still on my YouTube.
Is it the one that you shot like 10 years ago?
Dude. The Break of Skies.
Oh, God. Yeah, I remember that. It's like one of the...
Let me see.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was with like Jordan McDowell and all them, right? And Mark and Matt. That's crazy. Yeah, it's insane how far everyone's come since then,
Dude. So how would you break that down? Did that sound good to you?
I mean, listening back on it now.
Right. You're like,
I feel like it holds a special place in my heart, though.
Dude, me too. Like that was my middle school years with all you guys.
Yeah, I mean that for me was like the first group of musicians I ever played with. So to me, like I'll always love that. Even if it's not what people would consider.
Like just listening to that, like I feel myself like getting into it. Like there's just kind of like this like feel to it. I mean, it's not put together great. But I'm just like, there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, that was some of the first stuff I ever played,
Yeah. Like, any band with you or Jordan in it, together would be crazy. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say any band.
Well, yeah, maybe not any band, but, but you on the drums and Jordan playing guitar, like, because Jordan was he's a different animal. Anything with strings.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, I tell people this story all the time that we were at camp one time. And so all the camps were at colleges, right? And so we were sitting at the bottom of the steps, and he brought a ukulele. He was just playing it, and I was like kind of singing or whatever before my voice dropped. And there was like this hill across the parking lot, and like the sun was setting and everything. Dude, this was like a movie. I'm not even joking. He was playing the ukulele, and we were just messing around, and these girls just walk over the hill. The sun's setting. They're just walking over the hill, and I'm just like, this is weird.
Straight out of a movie.
Dude, you couldn't like script that, And there was just all these girls walking over the hill, and they're like, oh, who is that,
Mm-hmm.
And of course they're like, oh, it's Jordan. And they're like, oh, hi, Ben. I'm like,
I feel like the girls always loved Jordan,
dude,
growing up.
Because he had the hair. He had the hair and everything, man.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, man, I've tried to reach out to him a couple times, and he just don't answer. So
no, I haven't heard or spoken with him in God knows how many years.
Yeah,
It's been a long time. I'm not sure what he's been doing or if he's still playing music.
I heard a couple things about him, but you know, I don't know everything, so I'm not gonna say anything. But
yeah, I mean, I have too,
yeah.
but it's all what you heard.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. You know, you only hear bits and pieces. You never hear the whole story. So I don't like repeating that kind of stuff.
Yeah, same, because you don't know what's factual, what's not, you know. So.
Exactly. But, you know, I just think about all those times, like, at camps and at the youth group and all that, you know, at those little, what were they called? Like, Friday night thing? First Fridays, yeah. We had those until, like, fights started happening and stuff.
Yeah, that was the best. It was like strobe light dodgeball,
dude,
playing music.
And we were there like all night. Yeah,
it's like Halo and that Dance Dance Revolution game all night long. That was cool though. Those were the good days.
Those were the good days, man.
Looking back now, I feel like that was such a stress-free time.
It really was.
Live, you know, it's like I didn't care about anything but like what's the next thing I'm doing. Like what's the next thing I'm doing to look forward to. You know, it was no stress, no care in the world. It was just living.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just. But it's funny. I actually would rather be an adult.
Yeah.
I think I would, just because, like, yeah, you're stress free, but you're also tied down. You can't really do anything that you want.
But when you're a kid.
When you're a kid.
I mean.
You know what I mean? You want to go to the movies, you got to ask permission, or you have to wait for someone to drive you, or all that other stuff. You know, I just like as an adult, you have the freedom to do what you want. But yeah, you have responsibility, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I don't mean so. Like I like being an adult too.
Right.
You know, it is cool.
I'm just saying I would choose it over being a kid again if I had a choice. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know though.
You don't know? You think it would be a kid?
I just enjoyed my mindset back then. I feel like
right.
I enjoyed. You know, now it's like you have to go to work. You have to pay for this stuff, and it's like you know you have to do these things, all these things. I enjoyed. I guess I don't want to say the like free feeling, but it's just you have so much. You thought you had it hard back then, I guess. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, my life is horrible. But looking back, it's like, yeah, I was living it up.
Yeah,
you know,
I was just lazy.
I truthfully was living and doing what I loved to do back then. You know, I was playing music every weekend with people. You know, I was at the Grange every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, seeing concerts and stuff, hanging out with friends. I was at the mall like every weekend. And then I stopped, like, I don't know, when I was younger, I never really liked asking my parents for money ever for anything. Just because, you know, obviously, well, for one, it could always be like, you know, yeah, I give you $5 or like, no. Yeah. But I enjoyed earning my own money. It's like I never had to ask for that. You know, like I just take pride in like the money I'm making to go do stuff I want to do. Like when I'm, you know, 13, 14, like cutting grass and stuff all summer long.
Yep.
You know, I do that all summer and like save money, you know, and then I would just have it through the summer, through the winter, and then I would repeat in the spring, you know, like earn money again doing that. You know, and it was, I mean, that was cool too, you know. Just being able to take that, like what I earn, and just go out and hang out and do whatever, you know?
Yeah. And that's probably why you pick that over what I picked, because I didn't do any of that. I was I was lazy, you know, and I think I struggled in school so much that it was really stressful. I had so much stress as a kid that now, like, I'm, like, stress-free. You know, I do stressful things, but I don't really get too stressed because I know how to compartmentalize it. You know, I know how to keep my business in one part of my brain, and, you know, except when I'm lifting. Mm-hmm. When I try and lift now, since I'm not competing for anything, I'm not trying to do anything different, or I don't have a goal too much, there's always certain ideas that pop in my brain while I'm lifting. And I'm trying to push them away, but they keep happening. So I'm like, and especially since I work out in my house, I'm just like, okay, I gotta go upstairs and do this. I gotta create this content. I have an idea for this, and I have to do this right now. You know.
So you're completely like, I should just go do this right now.
Oh, I'll drop everything. Yeah, if I'm lifting, I'll drop everything.
You should just make like voice memos on
and
your phone, so you don't forget that idea. You know,
I should.
Or
you
just
know, or just write it down,
just leave something on audio recording, and you just say it out loud so you don't forget.
Yeah.
You know?
I should, but then, like, you know, I just want to just go get it done.
Yeah,
and I want to do it.
Sometimes stuff hits you, and you're just like in that moment, you're like passionate, and you're like, I just want to go. I got to do this real quick.
Exactly. Like I've talked to so many people that create content, and they're like, oh, like create it early and then put it out. You know what? I'm like, I try, but the thing is with me is that I get the idea like the morning of, or the day of. You know, that's when it just hits me. I'll just be in the kitchen making my breakfast and an idea hits me. And I'm like, oh, I got to go do that. You know, it never hits me early. So it's just like, I don't know. I think I try and do that, but I don't know.
No, I feel you. When I'm at work, I'll have ideas pop into my head. Like I said, for, you know, writing music and stuff on the computer, I'll have ideas or like a beat or like a little melody pop in my head. And I mean, I'm on a forklift, you know. It's like I can't just leave that and go write that. So I'll just pull my phone out and kind of like hum it, you know, or like kind of make the sounds of the beat just so I don't forget it, because I will.
Oh yeah, I do the same thing. And it's funny, the way I write is I never it's like if you look at my notepad, my lyrics are all over the place because I'm just writing down lines. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I think that'd be a good line. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to, okay. And then after the fact, I'll put them all together. Or I'll see what matches. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because sometimes that's all that comes to my brain is a line. You know, sometimes I can't get a full verse or full song, like, in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can revolve anything around one line, you know?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you work off of it.
You know, like if it's a line that's, you know, a very meaningful phrase or something, you can build anything. You can build a whole story off of that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot of what I want to create too is more something passion-based and motivation-based, because that's how I feel. You know, because I have this dream and I have this goal in mind, and I know a lot of people have that, and I want to express that by, you know, sometimes I just want to scream it out and I just want to yell it, you know, and that's what I want my lyrics to be, is just that. You know what I mean? And have something like I told you, when you listen to it, you want to run through a wall because you're so ready to go. You're so pumped up. You're so...
Yeah, you just want pump me up kind of music, you know? Just hype.
Right. You know, but also hard and heavy. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a mix of the two. Because that's the kind of genre that I love. You know, I don't want it sounding like Post Malone. Like, I like his shit, but... That's not what my stuff would sound like.
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean? I want that metal vibe, but like with like a beat or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool now too, because I mean, you're doing your own. You know, you have your own, you know, company and everything that you're running. I mean, you could create your own music for everything that you want to do, your own promotional stuff and all that.
And that's what I want to do, because then I'm going to worry about copyright stuff.
So, yeah, exactly. That stuff sucks, man.
Yeah, man.
Even anything nowadays, which that's a little bit unmotivating too. You know, you have these ideas like. I always thought drum covers were cool to do. Right. You know, they're fun, but you gotta be so selective now, because even on YouTube, you know, you post something, you give credit underneath that, like, it's not your music.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
It still gets flagged and it's not viewable, or they just take the song out.
Because now you got like a pay for a license thing and all this other stuff. Like, oh man.
Yeah, it just makes the mixing and editing difficult, because I mean, they give you a whole list like on the YouTube. Like, I guess you can kind of edit your stuff on YouTube now. Like, they have a little like platform thing for it, but to edit your whole video and then have to go, like, you have to like go down their list to see what songs they allow you to use and everything, which it's a lot, but it may not be anything that you want to do, you know.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful about what you're selecting.
Yeah, it's
like
tough.
I had made a video. We went to Las Vegas, Ashley and I, and we went to the Grand Canyon and the Hoover Dam and everything, and I had made this whole like 7-minute video. It was just kind of like a little... It was like a vlog thing, but we weren't literally talking in it. It was just like the video work of like us going through the day and stuff and visiting these different places. And I had a Taking Back Sunday song that I had cut the video to match that song, you know? And it was like 2 years later, I got an email saying like that song's been flagged, it's been taken off my video for copyright. So now I had to put some stupid whatever that I could get off of YouTube behind it. Nothing matches anymore. And it's like, I don't know. Yeah. And even though no one, it's really just for me, you know, I know no one's searching to watch that, but for me now, it's just like nothing matches on it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, now, well, it's also like, even if you're, so say you're in the video, say you're listening to a song in the background, they'll even flag it for that.
Oh yeah,
you know,
they will.
And it's just getting out of hand, man. These people are getting paid no matter what anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So why?
Yeah, I don't understand. Because to me, it's like, especially if you're giving credit underneath, and if you've posted something to YouTube with music before, even if you don't post credit, typically like YouTube has like a filter, and it'll still have like the album underneath and the song and all that. So it's like free advertisement at that point.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess since they're already, the record companies and all of them are already huge, they don't care about the advertisement,
Yeah.
I mean, somebody like, you or me, like I would take that free advertisement, especially if you're, trying to get the word out. It's like, you're going to use my music, like, and give me credit for it. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, because you see how many people will ask, like, oh, where'd you find that song? Who sings that song? Who does that kind of stuff, But yeah, I mean, I've Googled that kind of stuff, and they said easiest way to avoid it is make your own stuff. That's really all you can do. Yeah. So, I mean, that's always been my goal, I mean, it might take us a while to try and, like, work something out, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said before, I can always show you how to do a little bit on the keyboard just to get you started and stuff. I mean, GarageBand doesn't have the most extensive library of things to use, but you can make it work for now.
Yeah, I've tried to figure stuff out, but I need like more time. I need like a day where I can just sit and try and figure it out, and really work with it. And because my brother's coming in December, and I would like to use him and his vocals a little bit. Because he has like kind of that pop punk voice, I guess you would say, and I really like it, and so I would like him to hop on something because I can't really sing, so.
Yeah, I can't really. Yes. Well, I never really tried. I guess I could always experiment, but that would be something I don't want to do it.
I think if I was taught correctly, I could. Because I always hear something that's there, but then I'm like, oh, that sounds like shit. I've tried to listen to stuff on YouTube and stuff, but it's so different if someone's actually teaching you. And like even with streaming, I've tried to, because I know mine's not the healthiest way. I probably screwed up my vocal cords like crazy, so doing the way I do. So I've tried to listen to that and how to do it correctly, and I still can't. I'm like, oh, this is so irritating, But
yeah, I don't have much knowledge on the whole vocal thing. My sister went to school for all this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she sings. She sings in it's a really cool company. It's like a company that has like wedding bands and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So she does that. She does it all the time.
Oh, wow.
And her band, like her company is like huge, and she plays all these really cool places and stuff, like for weddings and everything. But she went to school at University of the Arts for I don't know the exact name or whatever, but she went for singing and stuff.
Okay.
Her voice. So.
Did she? I didn't even know she sang.
Yeah, she's been.
Did
singing
she always
for a
do
long
that,
time. Yeah.
or wait? Did she do that when she started getting older?
I mean, I think a little older. I think it was more like high schoolish.
Okay.
But yeah, she's been singing for a while, but she's great.
Oh, wow.
So that's what she does.
That's what I do love. I love bands with like metal bands with female vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I'm trying to think of who. Like Walls of Jericho is like the only band I can think of.
Yeah. There was this one I heard. I mean, it's not popular. It's not a popular band. But I don't know. I heard one the other day, and I was like, what? And I think it was just on YouTube. I think she wasn't in the band. I think she was making like a cameo. Spot. Yeah. But I was like, ooh, I love this. I just love anything someone throws different into it. Because I think with metal, like, it's so similar. And everyone kind of starts to sound the same a little bit. Once you throw something different in there, like throw like a violin or harmonica in there or something like that,
Violin's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Yellow Card?
Yeah, man.
I went and saw them a couple times, and their violin player is insane.
Dude, he's
really good.
Yeah, man. And it's just stuff like that just gets in my brain and just like makes me think, with different just adding different things. Now I've heard a band have a what are those things called? The big boxes and they go in and out.
The accordion.
Yeah. I've heard that and it was awful. So I was like, so maybe not that, but definitely like I think like harmonica would sound good. because that gives you like the folk type of metal stuff like that. But I don't know. That's the kind of stuff I like.
Yeah, it's just all experimenting. I have an accordion actually. Well, I
really?
gave it to my sister. But yeah, I bought it off one of my friends for like really cheap just to have it. So I was like, how often do you really come across one
That's
of
funny.
these? And I had gotten one. I tried it like twice. It's very strange, but I mean it's pretty cool.
So when did you start playing the drums? Like when you're?
I think it was like when I was in. I don't know how old you are in 5th grade. 10 years old, 11 years old.
I have no idea.
I don't know. It's fun. The first time, so I had a drum set from when I was like younger.
Yeah.
It was never opened. It was like given to us from somebody. It was like boxed up for as long as I can remember. Like I never tried playing it. And then the first person I saw play drums that really, I guess, sparked an interest for me. Do you remember David Rojas?
Yeah.
He I guess was playing at his church and he just like came. I don't know. We were just up in the elementary school at Newcastle Christian or whatever.
Yep.
And he hopped on that the youth group drum set the one day and just like played a beat. I was like, that's really cool. So like I went home and that's I guess where I first figured out that like I could pick that stuff up really quick. Cause like I went home and like just instantly played it.
Yeah.
So I got really good at learning by ear because I couldn't read music or anything.
Okay.
So I learned that, and then that's really what sparked my interest. I was like, you know what, let me pull this drum set up, set it up and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't have like a bass drum pedal at first, like I was like missing I had like no cymbals,
Yeah.
I was just playing on the drums. But I don't know, I learned like that, and I got really good at learning by ear. So anything I played, like all the Under Oath songs and all that, I can never read music for any of that, so I would just listen to the songs a few times, and just learn them from listening to them.
That's crazy.
And it's just the more I guess I did that, just the faster I could learn them because I got so used to just keeping, that I got so good at I guess like just embedding that into my memory. You know, just because that's how I was used to learning.
So when did you get into this genre of music to start playing that?
The metal?
Yeah.
Probably when I met Mark.
Okay.
I think I met Mark right before I met Matt.
Because he kind of did the same thing. I don't think he knows how to read music. He just kind of...
He might now. I don't know if he does now or not, but yeah, he was the same way at first too. I know he would always learn from guitar tabs online, which I would learn guitar like that too, which isn't really reading music notes, but it just like
tells you which string.
It's like which string, which
chord,
fret, and it tells you that for the whole song. It makes life so much easier.
Right.
Actually, I take that back. When I first got into metal music, like the first time ever, like. So I used to, when I was younger, like I had a Creed CD, like when I was like real young. I went away to camp one year actually, the camp with the youth group or whatever.
Right.
And Jordan McDowell was there.
Yeah.
Mark and Matt were not there. It was like Jordan, I think it was Moran.
Ben, yeah.
Ben Moran. I think your sister was there actually, and a
Probably.
few other people were there.
Yeah.
And Jordan McDowell introduced me to Slipknot. He let me use that CD, and I jammed it the entire time we were gone. And I got home and I went and bought that, and that's what really opened me up to that. I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I never heard that before, anything like it really.
Yeah.
And then from there, that
because he was your favorite drummer for a while, right?
Yeah.
What's his name? Joey
Jordison.
Joey Jordison.
Which I don't think he plays with them anymore. I think he got really sick or something like that, and he wasn't able to perform anymore.
Dude was crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It was something serious. I don't know if it was with like his bones or with like his muscle functions or something. I don't know what exactly it was, but I think it was a big deal, and he had to completely step down.
That's
playing
crazy.
with them. Yeah, but I think that was the first metal band I ever loved. Recently, even I haven't even really been listening to like a lot of rock and metal lately. I've been listening to a lot more rap, honestly, like rap and hip hop and stuff. But
see, with me, I listen to everything.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. Yeah,
like it's just like it's more. I go by feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whatever I'm feeling that day. I listen to a lot of NF.
I love NF,
which is another great version of he's a Christian but not a Christian rapper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of NF. What else do I listen to? I've been listening to Post Malone's new album. I love his new album.
Yeah.
Because it's so different. He has the beats and kind of like the rappers in there, but he has one with Ozzy, who all the kids, they were like, people were tweeting like,
I saw that.
Yeah, whoever this Ozzy guy is, like, Post Malone really put him on. I'm like, what?
Did you see the one with Tony Hawk?
Oh my
too?
gosh.
I think he took a picture with Tony Hawk or something, and people were saying the same thing, like, look at Post Malone shining light on this skateboarder or something like that, like trying to help him make a name for himself.
Okay, so yeah, it says, But he says he's 100% back to health. He had a crippling neurological disorder.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess I wasn't
crazy.
sure exactly what it was, but I knew
transverse myelitis, caused by inflammation in the spinal cord that affected his legs and back. That's crazy.
All those years of rocking, dude.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what causes that, but yeah, I don't know. For me, like you said, like, you know, the music is just kind of what you're feeling that day. So I feel as though, like, in general, there's two different things that kind of pull me in. Like, the actual music itself, like, will pull me in, like, you know, so I gravitate to listen to that.
Yeah.
And then, like, the word, like, in general, like, the words.
Right.
You know, so I like, who have I been listening to? Like, I love NF. NF's really good.
Yeah.
I'll listen to, like, Hobson. I don't know if you know
Hobson,
that.
yep.
It's Tech 9.
Yeah.
And there's this newer, I don't think he's, like, newer, but he's just, like, not as big as them. But his name's Chris Webby.
Okay.
I like him too, but I like just the personal shit. You know,
Yeah,
people are talking about, you know, things that are just relatable to everyone, whether it be, you know, depression struggles they're going through.
Yeah.
You know, if like when they've been burnt, you know, by whether it's, you know, family, friends, you know, whoever's in charge of, like, their business or whatever.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to stuff like that. You know, it helps me in general to cope with, you know, if I'm feeling a certain way about something or whatever. It's just, I enjoy listening to that kind of stuff. You know.
Oh, definitely.
And even music, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Some music has, I guess, to me, more of a, I guess, like, depressing sound to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like go happy music. It's just, it's more like mellowed out, and, like, the notes that they're playing are kind of like in an order that, I guess, sounds like more of like a, I don't know, the music, I guess, sounds, I don't want to use, like, you know, bad terms. I like,
right.
I don't, like, I almost like music sounds like negative or depressing, but, like, it's just the notes come in order that kind of, you know, register like that in my head.
Yeah.
And I like listening to stuff like that too, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, I like, it's funny because, like, I'll be listening to something and someone will say, oh, why are you listening to angry music? I'm like, it sounds angry, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's very uplifting and, you know, it gets you going. It's motivating and stuff. I like that kind of stuff where people think it's angry. I'm like, I could go to sleep to this. I could fall asleep, you know, because it's just soothing to me, you know, when someone's screaming in my ear, you know. And it's funny because me and my wife are a little bit different. She's very lyric based. You know, she loves a song or something. Like, when I say I love a song, it's the whole song in general.
Yeah.
You know, the way it's put together, the instruments and everything. Because the lyrics, sometimes, most of the time, don't mean anything to me. You know, unless it's like something I'm really feeling. You know, something that really hits me in the heart or something like that, you know. But sometimes I could listen to, like, Slipknot or Gwar or something, you know, and they could be talking about killing someone, you know, and I'm not really listening to the lyrics. Who's that one? Dimmu Borgir or something like that. You ever hear them?
No.
They were talking about, like, cutting Jesus's head off or whatever, but I didn't listen to I wasn't paying attention to the lyrics until I actually looked them up. You know, I was more listening to how they started the song and how they went through it, and the drums and the guitars and just the different. They had like a Game of Thrones kind of sound, I guess, like an old time, like someone's about to. What do they call those ones where they're coming at each other on a horse? And they have the
Not
thing.
jousting.
Joust, yeah, like someone's about to joust. They have that kind of like music. I don't know. That's what it just seemed like to me.
I feel like that's how Whitechapel is too. Which
yeah,
I loved Whitechapel.
Oh, I love Whitechapel too.
But their
Yeah,
music is like really aggressive. You
It
know,
is. It's dark
their
and
music,
yeah.
But they were the same way with their lyrics back in the day too. I don't know if they've relaxed with them a little bit, but like some of their older CDs are like real crazy lyrically.
Yeah, one time we so at my grandma's house, she has Alexa, right? So we were just so we were at dinner, and I think we were like joking around about music or whatever, and I was like, Alexa, play Entombment of the Machine. And it started playing that, you know, the part like dun, 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 dun,
And it does that high pitched scream,
you know, and everyone just looks at me like, "What do you listen to?" I was like, "I love this," and me and my brother were like, "Yeah," you know, Like that stuff I don't know. I just love it. I don't know what about it. I love, maybe because it's so different. I love things that are different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes when everything kind of meshes together and it's too much the same, it kind of gets old for me.
Yeah, which honestly, a lot of it was like that for a while.
Yeah, and I'm like that about everything, not just music. You know, and I think I've always been that way. You know, like at Newcastle, we all tried to have long hair and stuff. So finally, when I left Newcastle, I was able to grow my hair out.
Which, when did you leave?
I left, so I had to do 8th grade twice. So so I would be in the grade 2 grades below or higher than you. So you're my sister's age.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think what year you guys would have left.
I think it was 2000. So I graduated in 2009, so 2005.
Yeah, so you guys left before I left.
Probably.
Because I left, like, I think it was my sophomore year was my first year being somewhere else. So you guys definitely left before me.
Yeah. So I was able to grow my hair out. And so I did. It got super long, you know, and I loved it. But then I saw, because we went to Red Lion, and I saw a lot of kids starting to grow their hair out. I was like, I don't like this anymore. So I shaved it. Shaved everything off.
Just because you didn't want it to be like what
I didn't
want
to, yeah. Doing? I saw everyone else growing their hair out. All the older guys, I was like, I don't want to look like, you know what I mean? Because I went into that school being the way I was when I went. It was like a preppy school.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's a jock. Everyone's a, you know, pop your collar, all that kind of stuff, you know. I walk in there with like a Whitechapel shirt on with long hair.
Everyone's staring.
Everyone's like, what the hell, you know? So I shaved my head and I walked in and everyone thought I was new. I was a new kid. I was like, no, it's me. You know, I just shaved my head.
Yeah, Newcastle was rough.
Yeah, man.
Newcastle was rough, man.
But it was very diverse, you know?
Yeah.
Because it helped me a lot because I was trying to find out who I was. I thought I had to be something for people to like me, you know? Like to hang out with, because I played basketball when none of you guys did.
Yeah.
You know, so I dressed like all the black kids, you know? And then when I was hanging out with you guys, I dressed like you guys. So I was dressed in like 5 different ways. I couldn't find out what.
Yeah, I understand. Just like depending on what group of people you're hanging out with. Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't realize that until I got older. And I was like, I didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I thought I did.
I agree with you completely because I've came to the same realization about different things like that too, you know, growing up.
Yeah, and then you realize you could dress any way you want. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I dress different now because I just wear what I want to wear.
Yeah, I do the same.
I don't have a genre or whatever that I go by, like I did when I was in middle school. Mm-hmm. You know, middle school I really figured out I think who I was, and then in high school too I went through the same stuff because I dated someone that tried to change me, and I was like, I hate this. You know, she got me wearing pink and blue and. I was like, I can't stand these bright colors.
At least you know what you don't like.
I know,
now,
man.
So.
But yeah, I think Newcastle really opened my eyes to just like what just stuff. I just learned different things, you know. And like even so, speaking of being different, when everyone else skateboarded, what did I choose? Inline skating. I didn't want to skateboard. You know, I wanted to do something different. So I tried that, and I got good at that, kind of, you know. And
inline skating is cool though.
Yeah, I mean they took it out of the X Games and stuff though, so it's not too much anymore. But it is what it is.
Whatever you like to do.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I don't know so much of Newcastle helped me figure out who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like at Newcastle in general, I was kind of the same as you. Like it was back and forth a lot. Like I didn't know who I was, what I was doing. I think I felt like back in the day, like I didn't, which I don't know why I cared so much again now looking back at it, but it's like I felt like, I don't want to say like I didn't like really have any friends, but I feel like the people I would call friends like looking back, it's like I would have called on my friends at that point in time.
Yeah.
But like they weren't.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's like I wanted them to be my friends is what it was. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like I would do dumb shit or I would, I would be who I wasn't to try to make friends. You know what I mean?
I was the same way.
You know, I don't know. I feel like when I was younger, especially, like I was a chubbier kid and stuff. So like I got messed with, made fun of and stuff. When I was younger. So it was like I would always try to take. I didn't want that attention on me. So I would try to pass that attention on to someone else.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like let's point something else out about this other person to get this off of me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that really stopped until like probably around like 7th grade. Like I like thinned out one summer. Got a little taller and stuff, and that's when it started to change a little bit as far as like me having like a rough time. I think it's like my grades slipped and stuff. Like I was getting F's on report cards and stuff like that, which I was always like an A B student. So that was for me. But I don't think I really started. And I don't even want to say finding myself because I don't know if I don't even know if at this point I found who I am completely. You know what I mean? I feel like it's still a constant search. I'm still trying out different things here and there, but because I can't even really answer like this is who I am. You know what I mean? Right. I take every day as it is. I know what I like. You know what I mean, and everything. So I try to stay as true to myself as possible, like whatever that means nowadays. You know, and I just try to not be who I'm not, I try to not be anything that I'm not,
So how was the change going from Newcastle to, what'd you go to, Penns Grove over in
Jersey? To be 100% honest, I feel as though it was the best thing that I ever did.
Oh, same with me.
I feel as though at Newcastle, I feel like rather than focusing on trying to instill confidence in the kids there and trying to motivate, I feel like they took the academics and the confident building and put that aside, and they made the whole school about keeping everybody in line. It was always about your hair's touching your collar, and that was every single day. Your hair's touching your collar, your hair's touching your collar. It's like, all right, your shirt's untucked. So to me, I don't know, they would focus so much on your appearance and how you aren't following the guidelines rather than what a school should really be focusing on. I feel like
you're right,
when
I feel the same way.
Being developed into growing up. And then even there, they had that little system with the checks. You get checks to get detentions. Even that was dumb. Because they'd give you those because they thought it was funny. And it's like you're literally just giving me detentions at this point because you think it's funny just to give them to me. So I was in detention like every other day,
Dude.
for something stupid. They'd give you them for your hair touching your collar. Like, they'd give them to you if your shirt's untucked a little bit, if you wore sneakers, if you did this. So I feel like you lost out a lot in general. Like anyone that went there missed out a lot with, the learning and just being a kid.
Yeah.
Because they focused so much on the irrelevant things that I feel like a school shouldn't really press that big of a deal with, That's just my opinion. I know everywhere's different. Everyone has a different mindset, but I feel like they focused on the wrong things.
You know what's funny? I never even thought of that. But now when you say it, I think back and I'm like, dude, that's so true. Because I could tell you, I was probably never in class. Dude, that's the reason I failed 8th grade. Because I remember Mr. Gann.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't remember that one.
It was my goal to see how fast I could get kicked out of class. Because all he did was tell me to go out in the hallway. You know what I did out in the hallway? Sit there and talk to people as they walk by.
Yeah, so of course you're going to want to sit out in the hallway. It's better than listening to whatever's
every
going on
single
in the
class,
right?
Every single class, even with a sub in there, like a substitute, I would try and get kicked out. And they would just put me in the hallway. I'm like, y'all are dumb. Dude, I had Saturday detentions every Saturday. Like, I didn't care. How does that discipline me?
Yeah.
It didn't. It might help some other kids because they don't want to have that, but I just kept doing the same shit over and over.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like, I think, I don't know if it's just like Christian schools in general, because at Red Lion, they not as bad as Newcastle, but they kind of did that. It was specific by teacher.
It was for sure. Yeah, I'm not saying that as every teacher was like that, because there were definitely a few teachers that I really liked a lot.
Yeah.
Like Unruh, for example. Unruh was one that I loved him. He was cool.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
Because
when you know how to handle the kid and you could discipline them yourself rather than having to send them to the office or whatever. Like if you're understanding the kid and you can discipline them yourself, and I think you're good, and keep them in the classroom. That's what it's about, to keep them in the classroom, and then for them to understand that they need to learn this stuff for a certain reason, But yeah, I mean, for me, it was just a goal to get kicked out of class, and where that took me is doing another year of 8th grade at the same school, which I was terrified. But I found out now it was the best thing that ever happened, pretty much, because it put me in the class that I went to at Red Lion, which we had the most fun. Out of all the classes that I could have been in, the class of 2009 was the most fun. Yeah. So I'm glad that I failed 8th grade. So I wasn't at the time.
Of course not at the time, but looking back on it now.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's like, so when my dad was teaching at Red Lion, he's probably giving out I forget what they get. What do they get? Detention? I forget what we got. Oh, SLD. Silent lunch detention.
Okay.
Which is like an underrated... It's an underrated form of discipline, because when you ever sit in a quiet room and have people eat chips, it's annoying as hell.
Yeah, I've had to do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
dude, it was awful. I hated SLD, but you could deal with it. It's not that bad. But my dad's only gave out like one SLD out of like so many years, because that's not how he is. He's not. Yeah, there's annoying kids. There's going to be kids that stir up trouble and stuff like that, but he knows how to deal with it himself rather than just give out one of those or send them to the office. Yeah. Because it keeps that kid in the classroom.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all about communication, I feel like.
Exactly.
If I feel like, and this doesn't just go for teachers, it could go for a boss, goes for anybody, you know what I mean? I feel as though, if you have a group of people, whether it be your employees or students that you're dealing with, even being a boss, you can give people write-ups, you know what I mean? Like, write-ups will, add to them being terminated. They'll add up over time or whatever. Right. But I feel as though, not everyone is going to take the same form of discipline or the same way of handling something the same. Yeah. Everyone in school, everyone learns differently. Everyone communicates differently or has a different way of understanding certain things. Yeah. Employees, I feel as though you can't deal with everyone the same way, but I feel like it's so generalized nowadays that employers, I feel like, will address a group of people all at one time, when, you should be going to, I guess, the few individuals that, may be, I don't know, out of line or whatever, and address them personally. Exactly. Because I feel also nothing's going to change in that person unless they see what they're doing as an issue. Exactly. So if you're just generalizing it amongst everyone and they don't see themselves as being the problem, even though that's kind of who you're directing it towards, but you're addressing everyone. If they don't see themselves as, the one that you're addressing, they're going to brush it off like you weren't even talking to them. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I feel as though, which I don't know why, with employers, I don't know why everyone's so scared just to address the issue.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, it depends on the confidence of that like manager or supervisor or whatever, because it's the same with my work. He sends out an email
to everybody.
To everyone.
The same thing, yeah.
And talking about one incident. I was like, I have no idea what that incident even means. So I know it wasn't me, so I'm not going to even pay attention to it. Yeah. So if no one else is going to pay attention to it, why not just go up to that one person? Yeah. Because he's scared. And when you're in that position, you get paid more for a reason. This is why I rave about all the time, is that you're in that position for a reason. Because when people are supervisors or managers or whatever, they think it's supposed to be easier. No. You're there for a reason. You're getting paid more for a reason, because you have more responsibility. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to care about it more than us. And you're supposed to... we're not little kids, but a lot of adults act like little kids. A lot of ones I work with complain.
I'm in the same boat.
I have the easiest job in the world, and there's people that still complain about stupid stuff. And I'm like, just do your job and go home. Yeah. This isn't something that you need to worry about. This is not a job where you have to stress about. And that doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. Like... I understand there's jobs out there and careers and stuff that you can bring your work home with you and stress about it and worry about it. But the one I have is just not.
It's not like that.
It's not like that at all. I'm like, you're stressed and stuff because you're worrying about nothing. Whatever's going on here doesn't need to go home with you.
Yeah.
You know, and there's people that like talk shit on each other behind their backs, and I'm just like, I'm watching it happen. People are coming to me about someone else. I'm like, nope.
That's anywhere you go.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere
Exactly.
you go, it's like that.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
No one ever just goes to work, minds their own business, does their job, and goes home.
That's the problem, and that's what I try and do. But then people see me as that. I've been told that people think that I think that I'm better than them.
Because this is the assumption that they've made of you.
Because I don't talk much. I go in, I do what I have to do, and I go home.
See, and it's funny. People make assumptions because you don't want to play the part in throwing
Exactly.
fuel on this fire.
Exactly.
So they just make an assumption, hoping probably that you'll be like,
so they're
well,
like,
I'm not better than you guys.
Oh,
so
he thinks he's better than
I'll hop in
everyone.
the conversation,
Yeah.
you know.
I've heard that multiple times. I'm like, they can think what they want, man. I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I got other stuff. I have a goal in mind. I have a dream in mind that I work my butt off for before I go to that job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll try to wake up 4 or 5, 6 in the morning so I can handle all that stuff and work out and take care of myself before I go there. Because I'm not just going to wake up and go there. Mm-hmm. That's not my life.
Which I think that's probably the hardest part about anything.
It is. It's hard, but I know one day it's going to pay off.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I give you a lot of props for that. Like, you wake up very early every day.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, number one, like, anyone even that has, like, an ambition or goal that they're working towards, I feel like that is the most difficult thing to get into the, like, the habit of doing, is waking up early every day, even when you're waking up without a purpose. Mm-hmm. It's when I say a purpose, I don't mean like your life isn't shit that day. I mean like you're you're not waking up early like I got to get up early like to go to work or I got to go do something, like just to wake up early to work on yourself, you know, and to strive to get towards your goals that you have, you know. I feel like it's commitment. You know, it takes a lot of commitment, because I'll be the first one to say, like, I mean, I'll work like real late sometimes. I'll work till 3, 4 in the morning. Yeah. But I'll sleep until 10 in the morning. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not getting off typically at 4 in the morning and waking up at, 7 to get, because I could short myself of like some sleep and like wake up and, probably do better for myself. You know what I mean? But I just don't.
Well, I mean, you also need that balance too. Like, you do need to get enough sleep, because I was the same way. I was trying to get up earlier and earlier. But then I realized like my performance was going down because I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I wasn't wanting to do things because I wasn't sleeping enough. So once I figured that out, and I figured out my window that I could go to bed and then wake up, because then I come home around 10:30. I'll get off at 10. So I get home around 10:30. That way I haven't seen my wife all day, so I can hang out with her. And then, I'll probably go to bed around 11:30, midnight, and I'll try and wake up like 5:30, 6:30, something like that. Kind of around that little window.
Yeah, I feel like 5 to 6 hours of sleep is a good spot.
Yeah, for me, if I get 8 or more, I'm still tired. I can't get that much. I think my body's rested at 6. Or maybe a little, maybe like at 4, maybe. Because sometimes I have to wake up really early, because I also train an MMA fighter when she's getting ready for a fight.
She's the one that you just went and saw her fight recently, right?
Yeah. Just had her on the podcast too, and she's getting ready for one in December. This time it should be a title fight for a belt.
Where's she from? Is she from around here?
Yeah, from Delaware.
Where do the fights take place at? I've never seen like an MMA fight live before.
Well, there's different promotions. So this promotion is based out of Sterling, Virginia. So it was about 2.5-3 hour drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like local or if like she travels a little bit to.
Yeah, that's about the farthest we've traveled for that. And the last fight she won pretty easily. But this,
I saw like 10 minutes of that podcast when I was on break last night, actually, of you talking to her.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's and I still stick with training her, because I used to train people in the past and I just quit. I just can't do it. I can't have more of a drive than they do, because then it's not going to happen.
Well, it demotivates you.
It does.
You know, it is demotivating when you go there and you know that you're putting in more effort with training than the person is putting in effort with themselves.
Exactly.
You know?
But with her, I know I don't have to worry about that. With her, she's a different animal. You know, so that's why I was like, hey, I'm still going to train you, though. Mm-hmm. You know, so now, like, I get up probably 3:30, 4 to go and train her at 5. You know, and then we'll train for an hour, and then she has to drive to Baltimore to go to work.
Jeez.
So she still has a full-time job and then trains wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, strength and conditioning.
Commitment, man.
Dude, I mean, but also that's her life, you know? But when your goal is to become pro, like for a couple of years ago, she set her goal to be pro in 2020, and she's pretty damn close. Because if she wins this one in December, it could be what...
That's great.
Yeah, what gets her a contract. So, and then after that, then... trying to get to UFC.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm glad to be a part of that. I love seeing the progression. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what I love about the strength conditioning thing, you know, is helping someone out like that and them determined enough to be able to do it themselves. I don't have to stick with them every step of the way. Like with other people, I had to text them every single day to make sure they were doing, you know, and they just weren't doing it. And months went by, and I thought this was what I was put on earth to do, and I was all gung-ho about it, and I was just like, man, I just can't do this anymore. It's draining.
Well, you can't burn yourself out over it either, you know.
When I was putting 110% into their meal plans and their workouts and trying to motivate them, and they just didn't care. I can't care more than they care, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what got me out of that. But
now being involved, I guess, with training her, and I mean, I'm assuming that you obviously are in that environment, you know, quite a bit, like whether it be the UFC environment or just not UFC really, but you know, the MMA fighting or even being at the gym. Is there a sweet spot, even being a fighter? Is there a sweet spot like where you have to, I guess, stay humble enough, like just like a sweet spot to like still be humble, but also like not one to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? Like, is there like a sweet spot in between that, like where because you don't want to come off as like a cocky person, but then again, like you still want to stand proud. You know what I mean, and stand your ground on stuff. You know what I mean, and like show that you're not like you're not a person like for. I don't know, like, you know, like you want to present yourself like you're like a badass fighter, you know, but then like you want to, like, do you want to stay humble at the same time, or is like the scene, like you want to come out just being the biggest, baddest person, like come possible, you know?
I think it all depends on the person. Yeah. Because with her, she's just herself. You know, she's not like that. She doesn't act tough.
Because, you know, I'm sure some people do. Like, they put on a persona when they're, you know,
when you're professional, when you try to sell a fight and stuff like that. And I've seen amateurs do it. This guy just did it at her last fight, and I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. Yeah. Like, just go.
I guess that's probably all I've seen, really, is just the more professional stuff, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, so with her, I mean, she's just, like, herself. You know, her nickname's The Draft. Like, it's not a tough animal. You know, I was talking about that with her before. I was like, I think that's why, and she's the big, like, she had a little girl come up to want to take a picture with her. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's a girl that she didn't know. Told her mom, she's like, hey, I want to get my picture with her. I was like, that is the coolest thing, that a little kid wants to come up and get her picture with you. You know, and that's what she said. She was like, I'd rather be the kid's favorite fighter than an adult's favorite fighter. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I think it depends on the person, you know, because some people just have that tough personality and stuff like that. Like, I mean, there's this one time she had a thing at Aldi in the parking lot. The parking lot's so small. Right over here, yeah. Wherever it is. Yeah. And this lady was going to, like, she said, I'm going to beat your ass or whatever, and she just laughed. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. You know, but she can't do that because if that lady were to fight her and Becca was to fight back, the judge would see the other woman's interest because Becca's an actual fighter and she should know better.
Even if the person like physically came up and
probably
hit her.
That's how the justice
something.
system is. Yeah.
It's a damn shame.
Because the judge would see that, hey, you're an MMA fighter. You should know not to fight, which most MMA fighters do.
Mm-hmm.
They say if you know how to fight, you're not out looking for a fight, which most people are. Most people, I'm going to beat your ass, blah, blah, blah. You usually don't see actual fighters saying that, So even though I'm not a fighter, I try and live by that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight someone, one, unless they put their hands on me first, or they put their hands on my wife or my family or something like that.
It's hard sometimes, though.
Yeah, it is.
To just kind of keep your mouth shut,
It is, because people just run their mouth, and then all you want to do is put physical harm to them, and it's hard not to do that, but it's about just teaching yourself, I don't know, how to get past it.
Yeah.
Because people are always trying to look for the one thing that really bugs you.
Mm-hmm.
But not many things people could say, someone that doesn't know me could say to me that would bug me. But someone that knows me and knows how to trigger me, it's different.
Yeah. I don't want to say there's a lot of things that bug me. Like, there's not a lot of things I don't think that people can say that would bug me.
Yeah.
But I think when someone, I guess, tries to be challenging towards me, like in that type of manner, that irks me.
Right, but like, what if you're walking and someone like went up and like slap your girl's butt or something like that, or like hit on your girl while you're right there?
It's not really all right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly.
But
it's that kind of thing.
But hitting on and slapping her ass is two completely different things.
Exactly.
Also, you know what I mean? The hitting on thing. All right.
Hitting on, you step in.
Say something witty and keep, just keep it walking, kind of. But the slapping the ass thing is completely different.
Yeah, they are two different things, because the one you could deal with words. The other one's gonna be a little different.
It is gonna be a lot different.
Yeah. Exactly. But and that's another thing too. You got to be careful with like who has a weapon and all that kind of stuff, because not many people want to fight with their fists anymore.
No, they don't, and that's very unfortunate. Or by themselves.
They're gonna have their boys. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's the risk you have to be willing to take at that point. If All
right, man, we gotta get you out of here.
All right. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming.